An event that would become known as Black Monday decimated Youngstown 40 years ago. Youngstown Sheet and Tube announced the Campbell Works was closing.
First News anchor Stan Boney recently talked with a man who worked there. They talked about that day, what followed. They even toured what's left of the old mill.
On September 19, 1977, Youngstown's old Buckeye School was where Youngstown Sheet and Tube held classes for its skilled tradesmen. Frank Marr, Struthers native, Cardinal Mooney graduate, and Vietnam veteran, was in the electrician's class when the instructor walked in with a solemn look.
And he said, well, he just heard on the radio that they're closing down Sheet and Tube. I was in that classroom right there. I was scared. I was honestly and truly scared. What am I going to do to take care of my kids?
Frank Marr also showed me the machine shop where he worked as an apprentice, one of the few buildings still standing of Sheet and Tube's old Campbell Works. It was while he was here that he became an electrician and later spent 28 years at GM Lordstown.
If it wasn't for Sheet and Tube and serving that apprenticeship, that I don't know what I'd be doing today. The old slate controllers are still up there. God.
The machine shop is now owned by the Casey Equipment Company, and they invited Frank and I in to look around. This is where they built the parts to keep the mill running, and much of the same equipment is left over from the Campbell Works. On this day, the Casey guys were working on an armature, but Frank Marr wanted to reminisce.
They would make the rollers that were used down in a hot strip and a cold strip. There was a little button at the bottom of that. They would hit that button, and that's when they'd tell us, hey, something isn't working.
Frank gave me a tour, pointing out the two overhead cranes, the old brick floor, and where the stairs led to. And the one thing he couldn't get over was how it all looked the same as 40 years ago.
It's like I come home. I mean, I can go up there now and fix that crane. The parts are still in the same place. It's amazing.
With Frank Marr inside what was the #2 machine shop of the Youngstown Sheet and Tube's Campbell Works, Stan Boney, WKBN 27 First News.